Today I'm going to show you the ins and outs of one of my favorite tools in Illustrator, the Shape Builder tool, by making a double-decker bus today. So we're going to make a double-decker bus together, and you're going to learn how to use the Shape Builder tool with some other tools as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to need our rounded rectangle. So we're going to go in here to our Shape Options and choose Rounded Rectangle tool. Now you want to go ahead and set your color to red. So we can just go ahead and do that. And then we're going to just draw a rounded rectangle, and you want it to be like a bus rectangle, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but that looks pretty good. And then we are going to go ahead and we're going to draw this one more time, but we're going to kind of draw it over the bottom area here. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that again because I don't want it to be too far out, but we want it to be a little bit past the front left side there. And it can go beyond the back too, but we want it to kind of line up with the bottom as well. So there we go. All right, so now we get to use the Shape Builder tool. So if we go into our selection tool, which you can hit V, V is the keyboard shortcut, you want to select the things that you want to use or the shapes that you want to use to build your final shape. So I'm selecting the two shapes that I've already drawn. And I'm going to select this tool right here, the Shape Builder tool. You can use Shift M as your keyboard shortcut to get to this tool very easily. But if I click on this, one thing that you're going to notice is as I hover over these different parts of the shape, it starts to kind of highlight and show me that I can combine or use these. So if I just were to click and drag through these areas, they will automatically combine. If I want to delete an area of my shape, which I do want to delete this back area, I'm going to hold down my Option key and click, and it just deletes. So it's really fun. Now to get out of that shape again, I can just hit V and click, and now I'm out of that shape. Now I need to create some windows for my bus, so I'm going to go back into that rounded rectangle, and this time though, I am going to select black, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key as I draw my little rectangles here. Now I'm going to go into my Move tool again, or my Selection tool, and you can just do that by hitting V. I'm going to position this first window, and actually let me zoom out here and see. I think I want to actually make this window a little bit bigger, so there we go. And then I'm going to use this window for the basis for all of the other windows that I will be creating. All you're going to do though to duplicate this first window is hold down your Option key until you see that black and white arrow in your cursor, and then you're going to click and drag that over while holding the Shift key down. And that will duplicate that, but it will also keep it aligned to the top and the bottom of this first shape. Now, if I wanted to, I could hold my Shift key down and select both of these again, then hold my Option key and duplicate those two. And then I'm going to do this one more time. And I want to kind of space it out. Now notice I'm kind of going off the back here, but that's okay. I'm going to reposition these in just a second. So now that I have all of these, I want to select all of them. So I'm just going to hold down my Shift key, select all of these, and then group them with Command G. Now I'm going to just arrow those over so that I basically have those centered. And that looks pretty good. Now I can take all of these, if I hold down my Option button, and I can drag those down to the bottom here. All right, now I am going to ungroup these, Command Shift G, because I'm going to do something with just a couple of these windows. So if you look at my original image here, about this fourth window back, I've used as the door. And then this front window here I've used to kind of be the driver's area. So if I zoom back in here, I can do a couple things. I can go in here and expand or scale up this first window. So when you select this window, again, you're in your Selection tool. You're going to select it and then hit E to get to your transform controls. Just expand that up so that you kind of get aligned with that original little shape there. There we go. All right, so then we're going to go back to our Selection tool, V, hold our Shift key down and select the bus and then this first, window that we have here that we've expanded up. Hit Shift M for that shape builder. Hold our Option key down and delete that extended little part. So there I have my little area where my bus driver would be. Now I'm going to go to this second to last window here and again hit E for my transform controls. I'm going to grab this bottom area, pull that down until it extends beyond the bus, then go back, hit V again, hold down the Shift key, select those, and then Shift M for my shape builder, Option key, and click to delete that. Go back to V and click. All right, so there I have my windows for my double-decker bus. Now I need to create some wheels because it is a bus, so it needs some wheels. So I'm going to go into my Ellipse Tool. L is the keyboard shortcut for that. My wheels need to be perfectly symmetrical. They need to be perfect circles. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key and click and drag a wheel. Now I'm going to go to my selection tool again. I'm going to hit V. Hold down the Option key until I see the black and white arrows, and then click, hold down the Shift key, and drag this back to the back. Okay. Now I actually want to cut these wheels out of the bus. So I'm going to, again, go to my selection tool, V, hold my Shift key down and select the bus and then the two wheels. Hit Shift M to go to my shape builder tool, hold my Option key down, and go ahead and just click out these bus area or these wheel areas of the bus. Then I'm going to hit L to get back in my ellipse tool, and I'm going to draw another ellipse that's going to fit into those kind of wheel areas that I've created. There we go. And I'm going to make that black. I'm going to scale this up just a little bit more. And I'm pretty happy with that. So to duplicate this, again, I'm going to go to my selection tool, V, hold my Option key down, click and drag holding the Shift key until I get that back wheel there. So that's looking pretty good. Now I need to do a couple of things. Wheels or buses typically have seats in them, so I'm going to go ahead and make some seats. I'm going to do that by going to my rounded rectangle tool again. This time I'm going to just draw a seat off to the top of the bus here, not within the bus. And I'm going to go ahead and make this like a gray. You can make it a different color if you would like to. You don't have to stick with gray. And then I'm going to either do two things. I could either hit E to get into my transform controls, and that will allow me to rotate this, or I can hit R, and that will just allow me to rotate it. If I have E, I can also scale it up and down, or make it a little bit thinner, or just change it, skew it, different things like that. I just usually hit E because it makes more sense. I have more controls. Now, once I have this first tool, I'm going to go down here and position it in my first little square there. So again, once I have this, hold down your Option key, or actually go to your selection tool, V, hold down your Option key, click and drag holding the Shift key down until you've positioned this roughly in the same spot in each of these squares. So I'm going to do this really quickly and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so now we want to use the Shape Builder tool to go ahead and remove the outside of these areas. So I'm going to just show you how this is done on the first one, and then I'm going to work through this really quickly so you don't have to do each of them with me. All you're going to do is select your little chair here, or your little back of the chair, and then select your window. And then I'm going to hit Shift M to get into my Shape Builder tool and hold my Option key down and just click on these outer shapes so that they delete. Okay, I'm going to continue with that and then I'll come back to you. All right, so there we go. We have some seats in our bus. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a steering wheel just using the Ellipse tool. So again, I'm going to draw that as an oval up here at the top. Hit E to get into my transform controls, angle that ever so slightly. hit V to get into my selection tool, and just click and drag that down so it sits right there in the bus as a steering wheel. There we go. All right, now we also need to have some stairs kind of going into the bus. So we're going to go to our pen tool, and actually I'm going to deselect this first here, and let me grab this color of gray. There we go. I'm going to go ahead also and give this a black stroke. So I'm going to grab a black for my stroke and then hit P for the pen tool and go ahead and start drawing this in. So when you're drawing these stairs in, you're going to draw an angle, and then from that angle you're going to have a right angle as well. And this will make sense hopefully as I'm going about it. So I'm going to go up here and then take that, hold the shift key so I can take that across as a right angle. And then I'm going to take it out here to the corner and then back and close that path. Now I'm going to hold my command key, click off of here, then go up to this anchor and click, and then go down to this bottom anchor and click. Okay, so now we're ready to start our next step. So I'm going to hold my selection tool, or hit my selection tool V, click off to the side, hit P for the pen tool, start here, go up holding the shift key, click, over holding the shift key, click, down, click, and then, oops, I connected that, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to go over here. And then go back here and close that loop. Hold that, hit V for the selection tool, or hold command key down and click, and then go back to your pen tool, click, and then kind of drag that down so we get our angle of our stair, which is looking good. Last one here, again, hold your shift key down, up and over, and then over. We can even kind of take that down and overlap a bit. And then over here, hold your command key down, click, and then go to that corner and drag that down. Okay, so now we get to make this into stairs by using our shape builder tool. So I'm going to go ahead and select this back opening and then select these individual shapes that I've drawn here. Now I'm going to hit Shift M, and I am going to hold my Option key down and start deleting these outer areas. Now we still have some overlapping there, and we've got some areas that probably could be combined. So I'm going to go back and kind of clean those up, and then I'll come back to you here in a second. Okay, so one thing that I did in that little segment that I speeded up there that you may need to do is I went ahead and I expanded all of my stairs here, and I did that because I have strokes on these, and the strokes were not working with the shape builder tool, so it was harder to get those removed when they're outside of the door. So all you have to do that is select those and go to Object and Expand, which is not an option at this point, but it will be if you select those. So now we need to create the little banner on here that says Welcome to London, and it has the Union Jack on it. So the Shape Builder tool is really fun to create the Union Jack flag. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to go ahead and use the rectangle tool. We're going to draw a rectangle and choose in our swatches here. Let's go into our swatches and choose kind of a medium blue. That's probably okay. And then we are going to start with our white, and we're going to start drawing a rectangle just using our regular rectangle tool. Over the top of this, we're going to make that white. And then I'm going to hit V for my selection tool, do a Command C and then a Command Shift V to paste in place. Hit E for those transform controls. Hold your Shift key down and rotate this out. And then expand this by clicking on the side, holding the Shift key and the Option key, and then pulling that out. So at this point, you might need to kind of shift this around. but that's looking pretty good. Then I'm going to hit Command C and Command Shift V and hit E again for those transform controls. And I'm going to just rotate this up. Now at this point, I may need to hold my Option key down and kind of scale down that stripe. And I might actually need to do that here in the center too, because I'm not seeing a lot of blue. So I'm just going to hold the Option key down. Now when you hold the Option key down when you're scaling, it just centers it while it scales it down. So that is what we want, because we don't want to kind of shift it from the left to the right or anything like that. So I'm going to just do that here too, just because I think I made it a little bit too thick to start out with. Okay, so then I'm going to take this last angled line, and when you do angle these, you want them to kind of angle so that the edge of them is on the side, not on the bottom here. So hopefully that'll make sense as we continue on here. So again, I'm going to do a Command C and then a Command Shift V to paste that in place, hit E to get my transform controls, and then rotate that out. Okay, so there's the beginning of our Union Jack. That looks really good. Now I need to take this white, and I'm going to kind of do what I did before to duplicate these. I'm going to hit a Command C to copy, Command Shift V to paste. Then I'm going to select my red, hit E for my transform controls, and then again hold my Option key down as I scale this down. And then I'm going to do that again for each one of these, and then I'll come back to you. I think the first thing I'm going to do is just select the white. So I'm going to hold my Shift key down and select the white, and then I'm going to do Shift M to get that shape builder and just draw through those white areas until that is all one shape. So it might take some doing because you have a lot of overlapping there, but then once you get that, that's looking pretty good. Then I'm going to do the same thing here with the red. So now I need to select this rectangle in the back and then select these two shapes that I've made. And actually, let me do that again. And then Shift M and hold the Option key this time and go through and delete all of this overlap. And voila! I have a Union Jack. Now the last thing that I'm going to do, just to make sure that I don't get this out of place, is I'm going to draw a selection over this and hit Command G to group it. Then I need to duplicate this, so I'm going to hold my Option key, click on this, hold my Option key down, and then click and drag to get two of these Union Jacks. Now I'm going to select both of these, hit my transform controls E. So I'm going to scale these down while holding the Shift key to make sure I don't lose proportion. And then I am going to position these so that they are on either side of each other. Go ahead and select both of them and pull them up here. It's kind of perfect spacing there. I didn't really plan it that way, but it worked out pretty well. And then we want to have a white banner in between them. So we can just go back to our rectangle tool here, and we can draw a banner across. But there we go, and then select white. So if I wanted to, I could shape build this so that I just delete these, but since the white's over the top, I'm just going to go ahead and group them. So I'm going to select them, hit a Command G, and I'm good to go. So the last thing I need to do is go in and, whoops, did not mean to do that. I'm going to just draw a text box here. Now I'm using Charlemagne for my font, but you can use whatever font you want. I thought it kind of looked like a British font. So I'm going to put Welcome to London. Size it to be the appropriate size that will fit on the banner. And then just drag it down to your banner when you're done. So I need to size that a little bit smaller. I hit a keyboard shortcut while I was in my text box, which is rookie mistake. There we go. Welcome to London. So now I can also add in a number of other things. I can create a little setting here for it if I wanted to create a road or some clouds in the background. And you can see how you can use the Shape Builder tool to build all of these different things. So go ahead, experiment, have some fun creating your own flat designs using the Shape Builder tool. And I look forward to seeing what you create.